So the next thing on the docket might be to discuss Hayward a little bit. I don't want to get too crazy, but it's a crazy part of the offseason.
I really want to get into it because I love Gordon Hayward.
So do I.
I absolutely love this move for Charlotte. There's no one else that they could have landed that will do more for their roster. He's a guy that can be the leader straight away. There's no one else there that's going to stand in his way.
That's true.
He's the number one guy. He goes from being number 4 in Boston to number 1 at Charlotte, which instantly means more production. And he was already productive in Boston.
Yeah, he was a little bit sandwiched in there with, he's got Tatum and Brown, who are likely going to be the future. Well, they are the future of the Celtics. And then bring in Kemba.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shots to spread around.
Yeah.
It's not easy for Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
And the original signing of Hayward I liked. Brad Stevens obviously was his college coach, and he's one of the best coaches in the league. I thought they were going to make it work. If you want to another episode just to talk about how the Celtics didn't do anything, despite the fact they brought in one of the nicest looking rosters I've seen in a long time. But a lot of things factored into that, probably mostly Kyrie talking about the flat earth in the locker room.
Yeah.
But so Hayward on the Hornets, he got 4 years, $120 million, fully guaranteed, which is pretty crazy.
It's a lot of money.
But if you're thinking about the player and not the money, I do like the fit.
Yeah.
I really do. Because they need maturity.
Yep.
They need, I want to say solidity, but I don't know if he's going to stay healthy.
Yeah.
They need a guy that LaMelo might be able to turn to be like asking questions and how can I do this, this, and that. As the lead guy, as the ball handler, the creator, LaMelo can learn a lot from Hayward in addition to the rest of the roster.
Yep.
At this stage, maybe not from Terry Rozier, not my favorite guy.
I think it's a
bunch of young guys.
It's really important to put Gordon Hayward's contract into perspective. You've got guys that are being paid over $30 million. He is not the only player in the NBA earning over $30 million, and that's the thing that's really annoying me personally on Twitter.
Okay.
Of all places, is people calling out this signing before anything has happened this season.
That's true.
I think this is a guy that instantly will impact winning for the Hornets. And I'll keep going back to impacting winning because that is the only statistic that matters. Is if you are winning games, doesn't matter who's out there on the court. If they are helping you win, that's who you play.
That's fair.
And I think instantly that's a guy that's going to come out and win games for you. And he's being paid less than Mike Conley. I could go on. Tobias Harris, Chris Middleton. He's probably on the same amount of money as Dame, although Dame next year is going to be on $43 million.
54 in 2023.
Yeah.
Which is nutso.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. I think Hayward, look, $120 million guaranteed for a guy who's just had a string of injuries is not amazing.
Yep.
You don't want to see that number ideally. I think a good point someone brought up a couple seasons ago on a podcast. They were talking about how the contracts are starting to blow up.
Yeah.
And a good way to look at it is if you cut the contract in half, that's kind of what it should look like. It's just that the numbers are inflated.
Yeah.
So a guy like Hayward would you say $15 million is fair?
Honestly, going into free agency, I thought, especially after he declined his contract, I did think that was the contract he'd receive.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he's overpaid at Charlotte. I think that they're paying what they needed to pay to get a good locker room guy in. Okay. You've got a very, very young core in Charlotte. You've just bought one of the most enigmatic draftees probably of all time.
One of them.
Well, next to Lonzo, but
LaMelo's is 10 times crazier than Lonzo in that regard.
Well, he's already a superstar. He couldn't go anywhere when he was playing in Sydney. He couldn't go where everyone recognized him. And that's a difficult thing to do before you've played an NBA game. But everyone knows who LaMelo Ball is.
That's true.
You're bringing in Gordon Hayward, who has faced a lot of adversity in his career. He had one All-Star season, and then he was paid an absolute bomb by Boston.
Yeah.
And he's coming to a small market team that had to overpay to get a guy in there that can help straight away.
That's what keeps coming up. Yeah, they had to overpay to get somebody. I understand.
Yeah.
With that, I think he's going to be I think he's going to be a good player for them. The money is never going to be a happy number, but I see what you're saying about that they needed to pay. Like, they're paying a fair amount for the guy. That's all right.
Yep.
So that was just the Hayward segment.